hey, let us go ask some fan questions here in Charleston. Go. Whoa, guys, we're playing sports. We're at a stadium. All right, the wave ended, but we're really glad to see you. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Do you guys have any questions for anyone associated with Welcome to Night Vale?
Just like what really made you want to join, like all of you, because some of you joined at different times.
A couple years ago, 2.5 years ago, Joseph just asked if he could use my music for a podcast, and I checked out the podcast and thought it was really cool, so I said, yeah, absolutely.
Cecil and I went to college together, and we've been very good friends for a long time, and I went to a show that he was doing at the Bell House in Brooklyn, and Essence Plus One, because I'm gorgeous. And then I met Joseph and his mother, and his mother really liked me and kind of forced me into the show. No, I'm just kidding. And like randomly, a few months later, Joseph sent me an email being like, hey, do you want to go on tour? And I was like, duh.
Listen, when I created Welcome to Night Vale 14 years ago, as a kid in Arkansas, I realized that there wasn't something that spoke to my community there. That community being dystopian conspiracy theorists. I thought it was about time that we had a voice, you know? I mean, we had Art Bell, but he didn't come on until like 4 in the morning. So I created this show. I contacted Jeffrey Craner and Joseph Fink, and I asked them if I could borrow their names just as, you know, as ghostwriters.
It was just this guy calling me up.
Yeah.
He wanted me to sign all these things. I didn't bother to read them.
But I think it's working out well, and I think we found a real fan base for this show, and people seem to love it.
I have a question for your character, Carlos, if you don't mind. What made him want to become a scientist? What was that initial tick? You know what? I gotta figure out why this happens.
So I wanted to tackle this question with you.
It's a really good question. It's something I think about a lot when I'm writing Carlos, and especially when we started addressing his backstory more. You know, so much of like how he started on the show was as kind of the old trope of like the handsome scientist who comes to a weird, you know, kind of like the handsome hero of, you know, that comes to like save the day using science and math to like figure out all the things that are wrong with this town. And I think Cecil sort of like is suspicious of that, and so that's what we were playing against. And then obviously over time we developed the character. So yeah, so we're still kind of like feeling that out. So I have a lot of thoughts on that I won't go too deep into because I haven't written them yet. So I don't want to promise things about Carlos that don't exist.
Right.
But I mean, as we know now, I mean, the things that we have put out there that we do like, I mean, I think Carlos is a structured person, but I think Carlos also loves the beauty of things. And I think of like, if you have a chance to read, the physicist Richard Feynman has these really, really beautiful essays. Anyways, and he really did find the beauty of like the structure and logic of science and mathematics to explain the Earth, but at the same time understanding that language could equally be used to describe a flower, you know, could equally be used to describe the beauty in nature. And I think Carlos, I want to walk those two lines between structure and beauty.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Carlos loves being a scientist.
Yeah, I think Carlos is also super genuine, like just like purely earnest.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like loves all things, and he was like, how can I study all things? And he was like, science.
I think that's a great point. Yeah, that's way more succinct than I.
Okay, but great. That's why we're here together.